Go. All right, we're ready on our multi-platform, and we're into just giving a quick shout out to a few people. We got a number of folks on, like Mary Bell and Sam Dove and Sheila Hill, Gloria Hairston, Calvin Patterson, Ed Samuel, John Alexander. I haven't seen you in a while. He's the pen. He had done about 65 years, and 70, uh, announcing Penn football. Maria Mendez, good to see you. So Gilbert, Leslie Flowers, who's on. So as you're here, you can actually, while you're on the phone here, and you can actually write in comments. We'll show those comments. And Layla Llewellyn, California, Olu, out of Lagos, Nigeria. We're going to get to the rest. For joining us. And welcome everyone to our Rejuvenating Your Amazing Mind training for Wednesday, October 22nd, 2025. We're almost done. It's going to be like a blur. So, make sure and staying with us, because this year is going to go by fast. We'll be in, but I'm always with us. This essential information to retrain your brain, and it's like we constantly talking about them, saying that we're rejuvenating your mind. Anyway, there's a retraining that has to go on. Many of you have been with us for a period of time, and you have seen yourself change in terms of your ability to be resilient. Okay, looks like I may have lost the line there for those who are on the phone line. Let's see, we're back. We'll do a double check on. Looks like a lot of. Oh no, we didn't lose a lot of people already in the room. Back to make sure that I am in, and I'm going to go back and open it up. It doesn't look like I'm in the room. Does it? Everybody's unmuted. So I'm going to.
Welcome to my one. There are 17 participating. Has started.
I'm back. Sorry, folks. I was cut off for some reason here. So we're going to go back into Q&A session. And folks who had hit the *6, please hit that *6. We appreciate it. We'll get you on the paper and in the queue. So I see Leslie, Carla Hill. There was someone. Feel free to hit that *6. We'd love to hear from you as well. Again, our goal is to help you essential skills of resilience. I'm folks a little early, sure that our phone lines are working. I do have a special shout out. I see that Sherry Aquari is joining us in. Greetings, everyone. We just put that on the screen. Birthday to you, Sherry, and the work that you've done with PowerThinking over the past few years. I want to also give a special shout out to Carla, who on the 18th celebrated 7 years, one of our longest, most consistent members. Kathy was our #1 member. She started with us just a month before Carla Hill. I actually have all of the sheets with the people who joined us when we started, and we said Carla's name first appeared October 18. So congratulations, Carla, and we really and all of you done for this community. And now you can take it to another level. Already on the app, getting to our new My Chat function in our group and sharing information. You can help folks, and we ask other people to do that. We focus today explanatory style, and that's our power thinking resilience inner strength number 5, which is optimism. So how can you tell if you're optimistic or if others are optimistic versus being pessimistic? Really, really. And we've talked about in the past, part of the prior through the company called Collective Learning, the company that Martin Seligman was part of, and the staff, and he helped develop material. He actually came up with something called the explanatory style, which is how a person explains what happened to them. And it indicates whether they're optimistic or pessimistic. Now, what did you think about that? Love to get thoughts. Hit that *6. And have you ever noticed when you or some were very optic in words that you used, and keeping those 3 P's in mind, personal, permanent, and pervasive. Have you ever noticed you or someone else, when you or someone else is pessimistic, and it relates to maybe a job that you have, that job search, because we just had Ed Samuel last week talking about in job search and AI, but this is where optimism and pessimism comes in. And how about shifts? So love to get your thoughts about that. Now, we're going to go right to Leslie Flowers first. Leslie, thank you for joining us from us about the explanatory style. Welcome.
Thank you, Stanley, and hello, everyone. I'm calling from the East Coast of North Carolina in Raleigh, in the United States, the Southeast, and we're experiencing some of the fall winds right now, just easing us into the video was excellent. What I really love about PowerThinking and Seligman's work is how well it relates so many different practices and practitioners. So for this one, you had asked, what do I apply to their word? And obviously, the optimist is going to use positive adjectives, and the pessimist is going to use negative. This whole thing, the whole video is about, we're good at seeing this in other people, seeing that they're negative, words they're using are negative. Not so much just looking at ourselves. And we know, but as you said, through this is how habit. So what happens is the more you use the negative words, right, then the more pessimistic you do. The opposite, based on the law of polarity, would be what we call living now, which is picking the exact practice thing, that was a big one, practice that until it becomes your new habit. And so you can start looking at other people, exploring which words they're using. And then, of course, as I said, which helps. But this brings into the use what we can immediately go. If it could be the same. So if we're criticizing another, using words that are not positive, if we can get skill is the thinking skill, the fifth skill, which is optimism, then we use the opposite word, and pretty soon that's what you to think. None of those dominate. So the idea is to catch yourself as much as you can, whether you're criticizing somebody else the good thing, even if it's teeny. I really like the time, and then do the same thing for yourself and practice that. So really, a really powerful video for agile thinking, the ability to choose what you're.
Thank you, Leslie. Well said, and I appreciate it. The key of this is number one, being aware. Remember, inner strength, emotion regulation, the ability to stay calm under pressure, say or doing that comes to mind. We have empathy, understanding another person's emotions, self-efficacy, the belief that no matter what you have control. It's to those three P's. So there's self-efficacy, and related to that is number five, or strength number five, and that is optimism. So we're talking about things that you can do to be optimistic and to help other people to be optimistic, because you bounce back faster if you're optimistic versus pessimistic. Causal analysis, finding and drilling down to the root cause situation or problem. And then finally, reaching out, oneself, connecting with action when faced with a setback or a challenge. Thank you for that, Leslie. And we have these skills, of course. We have the 7 skills. The first 3 of those skills, learning, avoiding thinking traps, iceberg, deep rooted below the surface, in the subconscious beliefs, and then we have the 4 skills, challenging those beliefs, putting things in perspective, calming, and real-time resilience. So 3 skills, awareness skills, 4 skills that are action skills. So the style is about awareness, being aware of what you're saying to yourself, and that is important. So when you understand these 3 P's, where wondering to get promoted, or you're in between jobs, the next job's going to happen for you, or a relationship is going a little sour, you gotta get it back. Think about and what you are saying to yourself. The 3 P's are important, and down, because we've done this in a few times over the years. We'll go to Carla Hill next. Carla, mention where you're joining us from and your thoughts about story style. Welcome.
Good morning. Calling from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I'm going to challenge the wording Carla has down. I do not. That's why I've been here 7 years. Because there's a quote that's the finish line is milestone. So it's practice. Her the top best basketball players ever, known for his free throw shot. His practice is 500 shots every day. So, and he didn't stop when he got to be number 1. He still does it. So it's becoming a practitioner. And I love the way that you are kind of putting each of the points that we learn. It's easier for us to remember. And the awareness skills, I know I have. My son is very optimistic. That's good and bad. Like I train people on awareness, personality, interest, skills, and values. Analysis for yourself. I know that's a strength of mine. Yeah, weakness. It is. It could be a weakness at times. Mm-hmm. So allowing people that do see things more pessimistically. Really, one of my favorite phrases is community creates immunity, right? It's the protections. I mitigate. Now I have to protect myself, though, in terms of extreme pessimism, because it will it starts violating me at some point. But I need the data also at, right, in terms of the toolbox. I think of a skilled trade person, a skilled practitioner, of knowing what tool to use and when. Oh, I need Apple for this, or I need the screwdriver. I need to know that the only way to become. I want to be a resilient practitioner. Yes. Because I have lots of data, lots of examples. Life, like the kids, life is always lifing, so things come on in all of us. But I also just want to salute you. Somebody asked, are you a creative artist? I had that bias to being in the arts and music and so on and so forth. But what I love to see is people operate talents, and just watching you over the years, that belt, I tend to remember people they do. I'm that nerd of career planning and HR, but I know you sell telephone, and I see you integrating the communication, right? And that you are that person that loves the opportunity to integrate, interact among each other, and just being continuously innovative. And sometimes that new video on the right, because it disrupts into video, it got my attention even to relearn the concept. So just thank you for being you. And again, it's a pleasure to watch. I watch behaviors and how people fully leverage their personality, interest, skills, and values. So thank you for allowing me to share that.
Well, thank you, Carla, and thanks for your consistency. You have been the most consistent, especially with the 2 sessions over a 7-year period, and so we really appreciate that and all you do to help other people. Like my telephone company experience. One of the things, and I'm going all the way back, it was then Bella, Pennsylvania, and Bell Atlantic. And by the way, my mentor, Bruce Gordon, you can look it up. Bruce Gordon, he actually named the company Verizon. Picked the best name out of these brand experts and advertising agencies. And initially, the company rejected it. Senior execs, and he was the senior exec responsible for the name after they merged. Only 9X, it was Bell Atlantic 9X, and then GTE, and they said, well, we got to come up with a whole new name. There's a story about that, but going all the way back, it was, the talk from upper management. People are we value people, and they used to have this performance called Up with People, we love our people, and they would say this, but everything, the real messages to people of what they were saying. And I said, whenever I get the chance, and I have full control over disciplines and departments, I'm to truly implement this Up with People. And I did when I moved from the cable company to a telephone company, from the telephone company to the cable industry, and I was a general man over all the departments, and we were able to fully implement the kinds of things today, and we saw the roof through the roof. So we know that we have the power to help other people to change, to grow, to be more optimistic. They can thrive, and they can get results that we never saw. And that's what happened with this organization outside of Philadelphia, owned by a gentleman by the name of Jerry Lenfest. Ours was ranked 11, and we moved it from number 11 to number 2 in a year and a half because of the kinds of things that we're about. And so when I finally exposed to this company and what they were sharing, I said, these are all the things that I've done. And we can around the world. And speaking of around the world, Olu, let us know where you're joining part of the world and your thoughts about this thing called the explanatory style. Welcome. If you can hit that button, Olu, to speak. Look, you are. How?
Thank you very much for this wonderful, incredible space. And hi, calling in from Lagos, Nigeria. And I might take a different type of it. I keep, when I saw the video, what struck me, what just to my mind, was this thought that it seems to me wrong. I've not done anything regarding this. Me, the critical aspects of our character, the foundations are big. Young, mind, when I was watching the video, the vision that I saw was almost like the construction place in the even though a particular section was not going to be built in the foundation had already been made, which creates a difference, being already exists. Somebody comes in and buys it and has to and do innovation. So because the reason why I'm saying that, because I always speak from the perspective of personal experience that I have the most authority in. I found out that a lot of characteristics that I have, such as optimism, I'm just this kind of person that I've been knocked down several times. The thing is that I always never get attached to any particular. I'm always kind of breezy in the way I look at life. Eventually, it might not be when I want it to, but eventually, So when I'm to people, I think I probably sound crazy. There were a couple of God made it possible. People like you and other ones that have been fortunate indeed to be connected, started giving me opportunities, and I was able to climb out of the horrible mess that I was in from the bank. When I'm talking to people, I felt so positive that now that I'm thinking about it, as I was listening to Kala, and then Leslie, I must have sounded crazy, because when I compare some of the things that I used to do, the fact that I was living in one room apartment with 3 kids, I'm difficult. I find now, to reconcile the things I used to say and my faith, my confidence, my assurance, my hope, the reality that people could see. Mm-hmm. So I remember neighbors used to laugh at me. They would talk. They actually used to talk. They would talk behind me and all of that. Now I don't see any of them because now a lot of what I was saying about has become reality. So I think the way we speak of the situation that we're in, stop the inner reality that we have as it has to do with optimism. Thank you.
Thank you, Olu. And that's the bottom line, folks. What we is important. People will pick up. I remember when I turned around. It was called The Box. Many of you may remember it. It was a competitor of MTV, ET, and they played music. You could actually call a 900 number and order a music video. Putting money in a jukebox at a diner in order. And I came in to turn it around. And I said, I told the board that I'd turn it around in 6 months. And I did. And unfortunately, I was a president of the domestic operations, but I still reported to, didn't do good by the company. We lost a lot of markets and so forth. So they kept, and I reported to him, and I, was able to get everything turned around, go on the table with the largest cable operator in the country, who went back the year before, and I got terminated from the company just a few weeks before. I had stock options that were going to be back, that was going to be worth, it went up to about $1 in a couple of years. And it was the first time I ever heard the word depressed, when my wife told me on what I was saying and how I was talking about that situation, that she thought that I was, wow, that's the first time I've ever heard that. And that was one of my most crushing adversities. There's the opportunity. And what happened was that it was Jerry Lenfest, who was part of the board and owned part of the company. He said, look, we're going to turn a liability into an asset. And the reason why he said to me his story about being fired from the company, or Triangle Publications, which was owned by the entrepreneur and billionaire. You've probably heard their various communication schools, USC and the Annenberg School for Communications, and US managed 17 magazine and a few other, but he hired from that company, but he got an opportunity to cable licenses in the early 70s, and that over the years, and I worked with him to add that value, and he was able to sell off to Comcast, come away with $2.5 billion from an adversity. Well, what are you going to do? You got fired from Triangle Publications, the company that owned TV Magazine and all these TV stations. And it was the same with me. He offered me. He told me that story. Turn this liability into an asset, and he allowed me to create a news channel. Became part of Comcast, and it became CN8 News, called it Tri-State Media News. If you Google the Comcast network and you'll see the history, you'll see TSM News. Tri-State Media is the company I named, created, amazing things in 9 months before Comcast bought it. So we have to watch. And I was really concerned when my wife mentioned, what am I saying? Because I would a lot, and the way I thought about it, it was like, it was horrible, and why did this happen? And I wasn't a teacher for a period of time. So watch how we talk about what happens to us and turn it around. You heard a couple of folks talk. First, be what you're saying. Are you saying that, hey, this happens to me? Why did this happen to me? Hey, you know what? And that's the person. This happens to me. Is it permanent? This always, when you hear people, this always happens to me. I never get, that's the permanency of the 3 Ps. And then the third P of the 3 Ps is pervasive. It not only applies to this situation, but everything in my life. Have you heard that from people yourself when you think back to those cities that you may have had? So just keep in mind that you have to turn around by turning around what you say to yourself when things are going wrong. So I'm going to thank you all for being with us. If you're on the screen, if you want to see this later on YouTube or Facebook, and you'll see a QR code that I have showing on the screen right now, and you just put your scanner up to that, scan it, go to our PowerThinking Corp app in Google Play. I want you to this community, join it for 30 days and see how it works. We just added it because now is the time to be sharing with others. Somebody saying, coming to me, and you connect with that person, and I've done that over the years, but now directly, you are all powerful people, and it's time now to really take this all to another level. So I want to thank you for back to the audience, and I want to say to you, since we spend all of our time thinking, these 50,000 thoughts a day, with power and utilize thinking. So let's go back. And folks that I haven't seen, Sheila, thank you for joining. No, that is Soyaka. So Brandon, thanks for joining us. Other people that I have not acknowledged, Marie, thank you. Thank you all. Make it a fantastic day this evening at 9:30 p.m. Take care, everyone. Appreciate our multiple platforms for being with us as well. Fantastic day. See you again 9:30 p.m.